Hello and welcome to our sessions page. I just thought I would take this opportunity to quickly give you a little bit of a rundown as to what our sessions involve, how they work, your responsibility to a session during and after, and why we run them the way that we do. So the first thing to really know is we are not here for a quick fix. Yes, there are certain aspects and answers that we can assist with, and there's certain guidance that we can offer. However, in doing so, we do it in a balance so that you are the one that begins to incorporate that guidance or that knowledge into your life, so that you can see that you are the one doing the work here. You are the one creating the shifts. We might just offer a little bit of guidance along the way for you to do that. Then also you can really value what you've been able to do for yourself. You can really appreciate that, hey, I made this shift. It was something that was, impacting me enough that I wanted to call someone to have guidance around it. And I fixed it. I brought myself to a new space with it. I feel better about it. And knowing that you have done that yourself. Now, the way the sessions work is we connect into all levels of consciousness. So the conscious mind, the subconscious, and the energetic conscious. And in doing so, we're able to access your past, your present, and if it holds true purpose, your future in certain cases. And in turn, by accessing these aspects of consciousness, we can begin to identify belief systems and blockages which are held in the subconscious and in the energetic space. Now, some of these belief systems and blockages you may have developed through experiences in your life, through things that have happened to you, through the way that you've experienced something. Or they may be things that have been passed on to you. And what can happen is many of these belief systems can hold us back in our lives. They can hold us back from our personal growth. They can hold us back in our businesses and careers. They can hold us back with our finances. But they can also hold us back from having healthy relationships and connections with others, from our health. They can hold us back in aspects of the way that we live our lives and our lifestyle, and in our happiness, how we experience our own selves, what we think of ourselves. So when we look at these blockages and these beliefs, we can begin to identify their root cause, where they really came from, and if they're even yours. Once we clear these blockages and these beliefs, it can allow you to move forward with a lot more balance and clarity in areas that you'd like to put your awareness on. Now, in accessing the consciousness, we're also able to offer clarity and messages to you around experiences that you may be having at this time in life. It might not be a general area, it might be something in specific that you're having trouble with at the time. And so we can connect into that situation and have a look and see what's best and what guidance can be offered around it. And we can also offer practical next steps for you to begin incorporating into your day-to-day living, so that it allows for you to start creating change in your life immediately. Now, this doesn't mean that the changes that you wish to see take place will happen immediately. Often things take time to present themselves and to integrate. So it's important to be patient with yourself on this journey. We do not know that even now is the best time for certain things to take place. So it's about being patient. But if you start creating those steps in your life, you know that you are at least on that path to seeing that shift. Each session will vary from one client to another, and with one client from one session to another. One week we may be working just on the body. One week we may be identifying beliefs and removing those. Another week we may be just looking at a general circumstance, and it might feel like more of a chat than anything else, but we're just delivering messages in a way that are receivable. I've had sessions where we have gone back to childhood and cleared beliefs that have literally changed people's lives. I had one client, he just thought the worst of himself. Everything was falling apart. His friendship, his family, his job, his health, everything was sort of going down. And I was able to identify the belief as to where that was coming from. We went back to that and I was able to see what took place and how that belief was integrated so deeply. And when I explained it to him, he could remember that situation. He was around 7 at the time, and we shifted that. And after that, I got a phone call from him a couple of weeks later just to say he'd started getting more work. All of the clients that he had just treated him better. He sorted relationships with his family and his friends. Like, even now I'm getting goosebumps talking about it, because we can offer so much through shifting our belief systems. And it's something that we can all do ourselves personally as well, individually. You don't need to do it just through a session. I also had another one where a lady had had 20 years of pain and had been to doctors and naturopaths and healers and tried everything under the sun to relieve herself of this pain. And it was coming from one simple belief, and which, when I connected into her and was able to identify where this came from, what the belief was, and clear it, when she did her next steps, which I'll tell you about in a little bit, she was able to relieve herself of that pain. There are so many different things that we can look at, because basically we're working with energy, and energy doesn't operate at one vibration. It only does this or it only does that. Basically, energy is energy, so you can connect into whatever it is that you're looking to connect into. Now, like I was saying about this lady with her next steps, they are a vital part of the integration of the truths into your subconscious. When we do this clearing, the next steps really help completely remove that belief, and they really help you to see the steps that you are taking in your life, see the things that you can see can make a difference. Now, this lady with her health, I'll just go back a minute. I had been given the message before I connected into her, before we had the call, to make sure she was going to be available for a couple of hours after our session. I didn't know why at the time, I just knew I had to ask her that. And she let me know that she was. So when we did the session, we were working a lot, energetically, mentally, and subconsciously with her and her body. And there was a lot taking place. Now, her next steps were very simple. It was that she was to just lie down for 2 hours after the session, because there was so much that had to take place in her body. And she was to just go for a 5-minute walk. Now, during our session too, she became pain-free and was in the most comfort she had been in for around 20 years. So that was like, wow, this is fantastic. However, 2 weeks later, I got a phone call from her saying the pain was worse than it had ever been in her life. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I just stopped and had a look into her energy. And I said to her, I can see that you actually haven't done your next steps. And I can see that instead of sort of lying down for those 2 hours, you actually got up and started doing housework. And she's like, oh, can you see that? And I'm like, well, yeah, that's being presented to me. She's like, well, I didn't do them. And I was like, well, they're really important steps for that integration to take place. And so we booked in for another session, and I asked her to, please do those next steps. She did them, and I got a message from her to cancel the session because she had said she had followed those steps and she was now pain-free. Now, it was just lying down for 2 hours and a 5-minute walk. But because it seemed so insignificant, the value of its significance wasn't appreciated. For others, it may be a much deeper, harder next step to face that may really throw you out of your comfort zone. However, if we want to see great shifts in our lives, if we want to create those shifts in ourselves, then we must be prepared to do something different. We must be prepared to step out of that comfort zone. And we must be prepared to ask ourselves, what does this really mean to me? Now, I just thought I'd quickly explain. I do only have, I'm sure if you've gone to book in a session, you might see there's not many sessions or times available. This is because I only intend to do around 4 sessions a week. Now, the reason behind that is, as you would have seen if you've seen it, the introduction to me video, the importance of maintaining balance. If I'm not maintaining balance, I'm not maintaining my vibration. I'm not maintaining my truth. And if I'm not in that space of truth and in my true vibration, I'm not going to be able to give that to others. So be that for sessions, be that in website content, be that in programs, be that in teleconferences, be that also with my personal life and with my loved ones. So it's really important to maintain and embody that balance. Also, I had found I actually stopped doing sessions for a while because I started to find that it was really drawing and impacting on my energy. I used to do a lot of sessions and I'd do them too often. And I'd also make myself very available to people. And that wasn't always the best. I felt like I was trying to do the best for them, but like I say, that drew on my energy and I lost balance. And then as much as I was still able to offer truth, it impacted other aspects of my life. What I also noticed when I do a lot of sessions is clients would become dependent, not necessarily on me or on my answers, but on the fact that they could make a call to get an answer. And they stopped asking themselves those questions. They stopped trusting themselves and would want to sort of check with me. Now, I absolutely have no concerns with supporting people and guidance and offering that love and that connection. However, I don't want to do it in a way that it disempowers anybody, in a way that it allows somebody else to trust me more than they trust themselves, in a way that they stop asking themselves questions and ask me first. And so it was really important that I sort of brought that value to the session itself. But the main thing is that we each listen to ourselves, that we ask ourselves those questions first, and that we value ourselves and our answers. And absolutely, if we're stuck, do get in touch, book in a session. Also, you may like to look at how to get these answers for yourselves. So you can jump onto our sharings page and have a look there and see as the different options that we have. So if you'd like to book in for a session, please do so. If you've got any queries, please send them in to us. In the meantime, browse the website, see if there's information that's shared that can assist in any way to add value to your life. So have a beautiful, happy, healthy and enlightened day, and I look forward to connecting with you soon. Bye now.